Have you ever stopped for a second and wondered why some people reach their late 70s or even their 80s feeling strong, energetic, and surprisingly healthy, while others suddenly begin struggling with fatigue, swelling, blood pressure problems, and kidney disease not long after they turn 60? It's a question many people ask, and the answer isn't always dramatic or obvious. In fact, the truth is much quieter and more uncomfortable than most people expect, because kidney damage rarely shows up overnight like a loud storm crashing through your life. Instead, it creeps in slowly, silently, almost politely at first, the way rust quietly spreads across metal without anyone noticing until the damage has already been done. Your kidneys are two small organs, roughly the size of your fist, sitting quietly in your lower back, and most of the time you probably don't even think about them. They don't hurt when they're working hard, they don't demand attention like your heart does when it starts racing, and they certainly don't make a big scene when they're under stress. They just keep doing their job, day after day, filtering your blood, removing toxins, balancing fluids, regulating blood pressure, supporting bone health, and helping your body stay alive and stable. In fact, every single day, your kidneys filter roughly 50 gallons of blood, which is honestly kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. But here's where things start to change after the age of 60. As the body ages, kidney efficiency naturally begins to decline a little, which is completely normal. The problem is that certain everyday habits can accelerate that decline much faster than it should happen. And the scary part is that many of these habits feel completely normal. They feel harmless, they feel routine. You might even be doing them every day without realizing that over time, they're placing enormous stress on those small but incredibly important organs. And what makes kidney damage particularly dangerous is that it often develops silently for years before symptoms finally appear. By the time swelling, fatigue, or abnormal blood tests show up, the kidneys may already be struggling more than people realize. That's why understanding these daily habits matters so much, especially for people over 60 who want to stay independent, active, and healthy for as long as possible. Now, imagine this for a moment. Picture a gentleman named Robert, 70 years old, retired, living a peaceful life after decades of hard work. Robert isn't reckless, he doesn't smoke, he tries to eat fairly well, yet over time, he begins feeling a little more tired than usual. His ankles swell slightly in the evenings. His doctor eventually runs some tests and gently tells him that his kidney function isn't what it used to be. Robert is shocked. He always thought kidney problems happened to other people. But when they talk about his daily habits, a few small things begin to stand out. Things that seemed harmless at the time, but quietly placed stress on his kidneys for years. And this kind of story is more common than most people realize. Let's start with something surprisingly simple, something that many seniors experience without even noticing it happening, and that is not drinking enough water. Now, this might sound almost too basic to be important, but dehydration is actually one of the most common hidden stressors on the kidneys after 60. As we age, the body's sense of thirst becomes weaker. Younger people feel thirsty quickly when they need water, but older adults often don't receive that signal as strongly. The body may already need hydration, yet the brain never sends a strong reminder. So a person goes through the day drinking very little, maybe just a cup of coffee in the morning, a glass of tea in the afternoon, and perhaps a small drink with dinner. It doesn't seem like a big deal. After all, nothing dramatic happens immediately. But inside the body, the kidneys are forced to work harder because the blood becomes more concentrated and waste products become more difficult to flush out efficiently. Think of it like trying to rinse dirt off a plate using only a few drops of water instead of a steady stream. The job becomes harder, slower, and more stressful for the system doing the cleaning. Over time, chronic dehydration can increase the risk of kidney stones, urinary infections, and gradual kidney strain. Now, this doesn't mean someone needs to walk around carrying giant bottles of water everywhere or forcing themselves to drink excessive amounts. Balance is the key. Small sips throughout the day are often enough to help the kidneys function more comfortably. But the habit of ignoring hydration entirely can quietly create problems that take years to reveal themselves. Another common habit, and this one surprises many people, involves the frequent use of over-the-counter pain medications. Many adults over 60 deal with arthritis, joint stiffness, back pain, or occasional headaches, and pain relief medications can feel like a simple solution that allows people to stay active and comfortable. There is nothing inherently wrong with using medication when it's needed, but the issue appears when these medications become a daily routine without medical guidance. Certain common painkillers can reduce blood flow to the kidneys when taken frequently over long periods of time. At first, the effect is small and barely noticeable, but over months and years, that reduced blood flow can place ongoing stress on kidney tissue. Doctors sometimes describe this as a silent strain because the damage builds quietly without immediate symptoms. Many people assume that if a medication is sold without a prescription, it must be completely harmless. But the reality is that even common medications deserve respect and caution, especially for older adults whose organs may already be working a little harder than they did decades ago. Now, let's talk about something that appears in kitchens across the world every single day. Something that makes food taste better, but can quietly push the kidneys towards trouble if it's used too freely. And that is salt. Sodium plays an important role in the body, but too much of it forces the kidneys to work harder to maintain balance. Processed foods in particular can contain surprisingly high amounts of sodium, sometimes far more than people expect. Canned soups, frozen meals, packaged snacks, deli meats, sauces, and fast food often carry hidden salt levels that slowly add up throughout the day. When sodium intake becomes too high, the body retains more water to dilute it, which increases blood pressure. High blood pressure is one of the leading contributors to kidney disease worldwide because it places constant pressure on the delicate blood vessels that allow the kidneys to filter waste. Imagine a delicate filter being blasted with water pressure all day long. Eventually, the structure begins to wear down. Reducing excess sodium doesn't mean food has to become bland or boring. Many people discover that herbs, spices, lemon, garlic, and natural ingredients can create incredible flavor without relying on heavy salt. But the habit of reaching automatically for salty processed foods every day can slowly shift the body towards problems that take years to fully appear. And then there's something many people underestimate entirely, something that doesn't seem connected to kidney health at all at first glance, and that is sleep. Poor sleep patterns can quietly disrupt several systems in the body, including those that influence kidney function. During healthy sleep, the body enters repair mode. Hormones rebalance, blood pressure stabilizes, and tissues recover from the stress of the day. But when sleep becomes irregular, too short, or constantly interrupted, that nightly recovery process never fully completes. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation can increase inflammation, disrupt metabolic health, and contribute to conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes, which are both strongly connected to kidney disease. Many older adults struggle with sleep for different reasons, sometimes because of discomfort, sometimes because of stress, and sometimes simply because retirement changes daily routines. The important thing is recognizing that good sleep isn't a luxury for the kidneys, it's part of their long-term support system. And perhaps one of the most overlooked habits after retirement is something that seems perfectly harmless on the surface, which is sitting for hours without much movement. After decades of working, many people understandably look forward to relaxing more. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying a slower pace of life, but the body still benefits from regular movement. Gentle activity supports circulation, helps regulate blood pressure, and allows the kidneys to receive healthy blood flow. This doesn't require intense workouts or exhausting exercise routines. Even simple activities like walking, stretching, gardening, or light housework can help keep the internal systems functioning more smoothly. The human body was designed for motion, even small amounts of it, and when movement disappears from daily life, the body begins to change in quiet ways that most people never notice at first. Circulation becomes slower, muscles become weaker, blood pressure can creep upward, and the kidneys, which depend heavily on steady, healthy blood flow to perform their filtering job, begin to feel that change little by little. Think about your body like a city where thousands of tiny roads carry supplies everywhere they need to go. Blood vessels are those roads, and your kidneys sit right in the middle of that city, acting like a giant purification plant. When traffic flows smoothly, everything works fine. But when traffic slows down, when the roads become crowded or neglected, the purification plant starts struggling to keep up. Sitting for hours every day without movement doesn't feel dangerous, it feels comfortable, even relaxing. But over time, that habit slowly changes how the entire system operates. Many doctors today say that light daily activity might be one of the most underrated protectors of kidney health, especially for people over 60. It doesn't require running marathons or lifting heavy weights. Sometimes it's just a morning walk around the block, a little stretching while watching television, or getting up every hour to move around the house. Small movements, repeated consistently, can make a surprisingly big difference. Now, there is another habit that quietly damages kidneys, and it's one that has exploded in modern diets during the last few decades. And that habit is consuming too much sugar. Sugar has become so common in everyday foods that people often don't realize how much they're actually eating. It hides in sodas, flavored drinks, desserts, breakfast cereals, sauces, packaged snacks, and even foods that don't taste particularly sweet. Over time, excessive sugar can lead to insulin resistance and eventually type 2 diabetes. And diabetes happens to be the leading cause of kidney failure across the world. The connection between sugar and kidneys is stronger than many people realize. When blood sugar stays high for long periods of time, it damages the delicate blood vessels inside the kidneys that perform the filtering process. Those tiny filters